Welcome to Survival Homestead Teaching Farm. Today we're going to discuss why it's important to have books on hand. Knowledge is one of your best tools in homesteading, and there's no way one person can know everything needed to run a successful homestead. You've got to learn, and learning takes time. Sometimes you don't have the time right now to learn a trait that you'll need in the future. The best ways to learn is first-hand experience, hands down. However, sometimes you might not have that option or have good people that could actually teach you or show you in person right beside you how to do something. Now, today's world, we rely on Google. Let's Google this, let's Google that. Or let me just grab this phone and type it up and look up how to do this. Or YouTube, which you're on right now, trying to learn. Now, I'm not knocking any of those. However, sometimes those options might not be available, especially in the future. That's why good old-fashioned books are invaluable. I've always been the type that enjoys reading from an actual book, having the papers, and being able to look up something very quickly. Yes, the convenience of Google is great. YouTube is great. However, books are going to be here when those might be gone. Now, I'm not doom and gloom and saying, oh, we're going to have an EMP or something, but sometimes you might be wanting to start a homestead, and where your homestead's starting out might not have good internet connection, or might not have access to resources that you would have in the city. Well, books you can take with you. Books are something tangible. The internet is not. That's why I highly recommend getting a good set of books that will help you learn. That's one of our best resources. Now, we also are lucky enough to have people that will be able to tell us how to do this or show us how to do this. You know, I've been picking the brains of older generations, like my dad, and before he passed, my uncle. And those sources of knowledge are, to me, even more important than books, but they're not always going to be there. Now, if someone's left a journal or something, or actually knowledge of books, that is invaluable. That is why we're going to look through and show you books that we recommend that have great resources of knowledge that will help you with your homestead. I hope you enjoy this video.
Here are just some of the books that we have that are wonderful in teaching you how to plant, harvest, preserve, animal care, farming, etc. This first book is called Grow Vegetables. It tells you so much about how to grow, where to grow, and how and when to harvest. We have this book because we have goats on our farm. We just love making cheese and soap, so this is a very handy book. If you have never fermented foods, this is a great book to get started with. It takes you through the steps of how and when and where. It even tells you about sourdough bread. Understanding canning is another food preservation that you must know on a homestead, and this is a great book for just that. Now, this book is absolutely amazing. I highly recommend it. This is one of several books that Dr. Patrick Jones has. He is the retired veterinarian and naturopathic doctor who I learned so much with. I learned more from him than the knowledge I received in my graduate studies to become a doctor of natural medicine. He also has this book, and he sells his dried herbs online as well. This is the affiliate website link where you can find these books and his herbs. He also has his online school listed there that I highly recommend you take. I'll also leave the link in the description below. Here is another fermentation book that is great. It is a great starter guide. And here is another canning book. The Ball Blue Book has a wealth of information in it that everyone needs to have when canning. Making mead is another one of those skills that is very valuable. This also has great information in it. Now, this book isn't necessarily a homestead book. However, it is a good book to prepare your mind as to what is coming. This is one of the books in a series of 3. The second book is called 1 Year Later, and the third book is called The Final Day. I have not read this yet. However, I have had many people say these books are a must read. We have meat rabbits on our farm, and this is a great book. I am all about feeding any animal on the farm for free. When poop hits the fan, what will you do when you cannot call up a veterinarian for assistance? Having books about animal care is important. I watched Next Level Gardening on YouTube, and this is his book. I have found it very interesting and helpful with planting my own garden. Here is another book on animal care. I really like being able to treat naturally. And this book is helpful when figuring out what is wrong with your animals. Back to rabbits. With raising rabbits for meat, it is important to understand all the ins and outs, and this is the book for that. Now, this book has it all. We here at Survival Homestead Teaching Farm love teaching survival aspects, and this book can really help with learning. It has everything from medicinal herbs to tying knots to starting fires and to collecting water from a tarp. This book is about all things that grow in the wild that you can eat. I must say that these 3 books from Rick Austin is what started it all for us on our farm. I recommend these books because he goes into why he does things a certain way, why he has the animals he has on his homestead, and how to create all that he has. We do have a few pamphlet type books, and we have enjoyed learning tidbits about all these different things. There is a wealth of information in these tiny pamphlets. Aquaponics is a topic we've learned about at Prepper Camp and have implemented it into our homestead. This book is great for understanding community gardening. And this book is great obtaining skills needed when harvesting your food from the garden and turning that into amazing meals. If you don't have a lot of land, don't fret. This book helps you learn how to homestead in small spaces. Having fruit trees is a good idea on a homestead. They give an abundance of food every year. Here is another aquaponics book. You can't have too much knowledge. This is a great medicinal herb book, and this is a great book on vitamins and minerals. Now, with having fruit trees, you need a knowledge of how to prune them, so this book is great for that. We got this book at Prepper Camp a couple of years ago, and it takes you through many hygiene aspects that you may forget about that is needed in survival situations. Did you know that there are edible flowers? This book tells you all about that. Having good health is a survival skill. Any natural remedy is good to learn about. This book also has a lot of useful information about natural remedies. Apple cider vinegar is good for so many things. Learn about that in this book. This is one of my favorite natural health and healing books. With the exception of this book. This is a wonderful book on herbs, knowing precautions, how they are used, when to harvest, how to make tinctures and salves and things like that. It also has a section where you can look up a particular ailment and go straight to that herb. For example, if you have a sore throat, you can go to sore throat and it will tell you all the herbs in this book that can help with that ailment. I will leave a link to this book in the description below. Self-sufficiency is important. This is a good book all about that. Let's go back to the basics with this book and learn about building projects that will help your homestead run more efficiently. This is one of those books I would not want to be without. It's a great one. Here is another Backyard Homestead book that is really great, and a canning book that is for newer generations. I am so glad we have this seed book. It has come in so handy to reference. It tells all about seed saving, growing, and storing conditions. Love this book. We are going to have honeybees this year, and we have several books on beekeeping. These are a few of them. We are looking forward to having bees and the pollination they provide. We learned so much from these books. This is a homestead encyclopedia, and it has a lot of wonderful information in it. We have a Sun Oven and use it almost year-round. It's a way to cook foods, just like in a conventional oven, but for free. This has lots of good recipes in it. And the final book that we have that I would like to share is The Lost Ways. I like this book because of the wisdom it encompasses and helps people to understand homesteading and every other aspect needed to be successful at self-sufficiency. These are just a few of our books we have, and we hope you have enjoyed learning about each one. We here at Survival Homestead Teaching Farm want to help you learn and grow in your homesteading experience. Please continue to help us help you by liking, sharing, and subscribing.